Okay, Blinken, you ready to get your ribs beaten in for letting Biden talk about the fucking Holocaust in Israel? Right? Like, just, it was better, some things are better left dead.
Latino community moves in droves toward the GOP. Coming up, newly elected Texas Congresswoman Mayra Flores on the Democrats' opinion of Hispanics as viewed through Nancy Pelosi's shove of a child and Joe Biden's taco
based on what I've been saying about young Jonathan there, on Twitter. We gotta make sure we do this as the case study correctly because he's gonna be having no choice but to sit here and watch us make fire.
Surveillance of America.
Then
Iran, Afghanistan, China, and beyond. The foreign policy mistakes piling up as the world watches weak U.S. leadership. The impact on American families.
Something I've been running on again, the thesis of itself. How do you break it down? How do you break down Benjamin Button disorder? What does Alice in Wonderland syndrome look like? What does PSTD certain things look like when you've seen somebody not have the opportunities and supersymmetries under setups to the momentum of the Ryman sphere? Well, you gotta remember, this is an advanced game of the foundation here about where somebody's walking, kicked in and kicked out of the garden, what's up, what's down, and where is up and down, which is a totally different game. Ask questions, tracking stuff around, doing things, and
the New York Times, which endorsed Joe back in 2020, published a report last week on the president's age becoming, quote, an uncomfortable issue for Democrats, writing the often shuffles when he walks and he's worried he will trip on a wire. He stumbles over words during public events,
undisciplined to the Delta boys beating up on the gear bunnies.
But is it more
Mecca,
than just age? And
as far
if so,
as
has Biden's
machine
capacity
cities
become
and
a national
here,
security issue
how the cerebro
over the last
works.
year?
The best way
the war
to get
room, if
something
you will,
done,
eliminating it down to a single seat, and then
you,
not just necessarily running it like that, but
to
you have a situation where America uses a God-killer gun in two specific ways. One, it'll jam up on you, and two, you could do that in total cycle and be on the other side of it. Well, and that's why we give them extra guards on those things too, because for a certain degree, I could trip going up and down those steps, to be totally fair, about what we're breaking down in terms of how to use this presidency M1 efficiently based on its rifle inspection. And again, we're talking about Benjamin Button syndrome to a few things as a psychologist I'll tell you. There's not just the antisocial disorder of talking about a kid who doesn't get attention. There are a few subsets under the matter where if you pretend you could be anybody and can get into a situation as much as get stuff even though you shouldn't as a kid, and over long-term periods, would you blink in and be letting Biden go out there and say anything to Israel about the Holocaust? I mean, like, maybe, given what this point of view is inside here for what things are, who's got control on this and for what reason is it a beneficial nature? So you can have a conversation to make your Imperium try to look better when it didn't need to be done. It's not time equity of resources correctly, essentially. And that's a dual diagnosis that age can and has an effect on. It's a very well-established thing.
His new book,
other facial and body investigators about the Reed technique and the neural net of the MRI, which is the inverted square law of a pilot's theory operating Ryman's.
There is no joy in discussing the commander-in-chief in this weakened position. Congressman, your thoughts in terms of President Biden's mental capacity today?
Well, I think it's on full
there's
display
medications,
for the
there's
entire country
things.
and for the world,
You can't live
unfortunately.
forever.
And I've been saying this since he
even
was
if you
candidate
could,
Joe Biden,
they
Maria.
would cause a
This
problem
man
to who
should
can,
not
who
have been put in
can't
a
before it
position
turns
to
into
be our
veteran.
commander-in-chief, our head of
Right.
state, and our president.
Everybody going
and
at everybody
when I initially said that back before he was elected,
about why we
there was a
don't
lot
let
of pushback,
three-headed
and I said at the time,
Pavlovian dogs in genetic training, but maybe it slides in corn a little bit for GMO, or what's the biotech on the soldiers that we're out putting for, like, everybody can rank it up, but you know, there's an AR you can march across the field that doesn't have a damn thing to do with it. You just use the AR as a test of it.
To us right now, and it's a big national security issue for us when we have somebody going over. And his job as our commander-in-chief and as our head of state is to inspire confidence and to project strength, and he does just the opposite. So I'm seriously worried about it. I think everybody in the country's starting to get extremely worried about him, and he's not in a position.
If all the builders grew together, and even if it wasn't my stake, there was one of them running. Well, it's snap it right there, and you're like, well, it's this now, and they all get it.
There's no joy here. Let's put politics aside. This is a serious issue. This is our commander-in-chief, and we are watching this from America, but also watching this are our adversaries. The Chinese Communist Party, Iran, North Korea, etc. Look, Congressman, you treated President Obama in the White House while Joe Biden was vice president. Can you compare what you saw then with Vice President Joe Biden to what you see now? And without asking you to, diagnose or prescribe, tell me, roughly speaking,
if anything, we have
what
the
you
world
think
countries
is
and their
going
leaders
on.
that
He
you have
did
to
the
put
other
out
day
as far
discuss his
as private
brain
investigators,
aneurysm, which really was a
psychologists
shock to me
with
that he discussed it publicly, but he did mention it.
dementia, and
I
ego,
Messiah, throughout the 8 years I was there,
Caesar complexes on.
I oversaw the guy that did take care of him, but I wasn't in his position at the time. But I've seen the same thing everybody else saw. I saw Joe Biden that was always prone to gas.
That way.
But these aren't gas
know the
anymore.
experiment
Something's
Andromeda
changed.
plus the Archer paradox
to
where somebody's
the time
posted
that President
to
Trump was our president, something happened and Joe Biden started having another issue, a cognitive issue that's related to his age. And like I've said before, I'm not in his position. I haven't examined him, so I'm not going to make a diagnosis. But there's a lot of diseases out there that have a big cognitive component.
In the city's going to be, you got to remember, that's a real hard problem. To really experience what rabbit coke is, you will have to find
cognitive decline.
It takes a long time,
related to his age.
but that's what that math will become about why you could program boobies in the computer like that to enter without the adjustment. But you don't really know the wave function,
so I see a different Joe Biden now than the one that I saw when he was vice president at the White House. And I think there's lots of tape and lots of video for 40 years of this man's career, and anybody can go back and compare some of those earlier years and some of the gaffes to what's happening now. And this is something very different. This is something very concerning.
Do we really need Austin out there when what we really need is a soldier that was just hot trained to do an OP brief on what Ukraine is to them today on their brick and jar conjecture undercover, like they don't even know they're on camera, toss it in Fox, play it out.
Talking about China,
how
Russia,
easy
Iran,
could it be?
Everybody. This is putting our country at great
I mean, when
risk
that
right
light
now.
touches the board and they couldn't
and
stop
you came at this from a medical position, given the
nature
fact
is
that you
that
did
I got the military,
those three
nobody knows
presidents
how to
back
fix
in
that.
February
Nobody
of
knows how to do it. They chose not to because it's too bad.
put out a
too
tweet,
hard. Scientists are working on it all the time.
Remember the
Can't
cognitive
figure it
test
out.
I gave Donald Trump,
You
the
need
one
to
he
eat,
aced? Sounds like somebody else might need some testing done. Scary. But after that tweet came out, you received a note from President Barack Obama. Tell me what Obama said to you. You write about this in your new book, Holding the Line. He said, I have to express my disappointment on the cheap shot you took at Joe Biden via Twitter. It was unprofessional and beneath the office that you once held. It was also disrespectful to me, writes Obama, and the many friends you had in our administration. Tell me about this email that you received from Obama.
Well, that is my note as far as where I again pull out your own master charts. There's overall sectors. You're going to chew on a lot. You're going to eat a lot of metal in there while you're trying to figure out whether it's psychology, chemistry, like what type of reaction. There's
it was a cognitive mess. And then I just got a little frustrated with the double standard and the hypocrisy, because if you remember when I was President Trump's position, the far